when I wake up, feeling way too much, hoping I can work my way around.
Hi, my name is Vashti. I am an educator, a musician, an actor, a wife, a mom, and I have a brain tumor. And I did not know I had a brain tumor until a little over a month ago. And when I started digging for information about this brain tumor that came out of nowhere in my life, I very quickly discovered that there was very little information out there about the experiences of people who were like me. I saw lots of stories of people who were older than me or of different ethnicities than me, but I didn't see my story reflected anywhere. So I decided that I was going to vlog my experience with my brain tumor. So my brain tumor story started at the end of August. It was a Saturday morning and I was driving bright and early to rehearsal like I normally would be doing. And all I could think of was, oh my gosh, I have the worst headache right now. It was on the left side and it wasn't like a normal headache. It was like this crushing, agonizing headache. But I figured I'm working too hard. I'm not getting enough sleep. So I just forged forward, went on with rehearsal, did my thing. And later on after that, I went over to a former student's house whose mom is a friend of mine. And I was coaching her because she had a performance coming up. So we rehearsed, and because she's also a very good friend of my son's, he was there with me too. And we were going to go out after we practiced and take the kids to dinner and to this carnival. So it was supposed to be a whole fun, summer's almost over, time for everyone to go back to school kind of thing. So we were out at dinner. We let the kids pick where to go. So we wound up at Red Lobster. We're talking, we're laughing, we're having a normal time. And then we get up to go so that we can go to the carnival, which is going to be a little bit further south, like a long drive. And all of a sudden, everything got really scary. I could hear like this rushing sound in my head. I could hear the voices around me, but I couldn't see anybody. I kept reaching toward my son. I couldn't make words, but I was hoping that he would figure out something's wrong, save mom. And I'm told later that I was sweating. I wasn't responding to what people were saying. It was scary. Nothing like that had ever happened to me in my life. And I tend to want to lay low and not draw attention to myself. So I was telling my friend, we don't need to call an ambulance. I'm good. It's probably the new blood pressure medication that I'm on. I'm still adjusting to it. Just let me sit for a second. I'll be fine. And thank God she was like, Vashti, we're calling 911. So the paramedics show up in the middle of Red Lobster. Subtle. They take me out of there on a stretcher, which is kind of a embarrassing moment. And I'm straight up terrified. But again, I'm thinking, it's probably just I'm having this extreme reaction to this new med I just started like 4 days ago. This is all being blown out of proportion. They run 50-11 tests. They can't find anything wrong with my blood pressure or anything in that vein. And they just happen to run a CAT scan. By that point, my husband's shown up and he's sitting in there with me because, somebody has to get me home, so I don't have my car with me. And the doctor comes in and he's got this very serious expression all of a sudden when he's been very chill all the way up to there. And he's like, you have a brain tumor. And I'm like, yeah, right. And he's like, you have a brain tumor. And here's the images of your tumor that we found on the CAT scan. And here's a referral to a neurosurgeon. And I want you to call them as soon as you can and make an appointment. And I'm just like, I don't even know how to respond to this. And yeah, so they give me this word called meningioma, which I had never heard of, but that's the type of tumor that I presently have. And like a dutiful person, I follow up with the neurosurgeon and I meet with them. They decide to give it a couple of weeks to see if there's any growth from the first images that they took until the new ones. And they run an MRI. And not gonna lie, I'd been hoping that it would have been like, hey, we were kind of out in the country. Maybe they didn't know how to read the CAT scan correctly. Maybe, this was all just a big mistake. And the MRI just confirmed everything that they found. So I did have this meningioma, this brain tumor. So the next steps were, okay, so we're going to decide, at first they had been like, you could either watch and wait, or you could have radiation and just try to shrink it down, or you can have surgery. And when I came back to talk with them after the MRI, they were like, no, you're having surgery because you don't want to watch and wait this one because it's already growing. And in the event that it is cancerous, which we can't know until we go inside and we do radiation, we're actually making it harder to treat it. So long story short, I am scheduled for surgery in a few weeks to have my head, as I keep putting it, they're going to cut my head open with a surgical saw. No, I'm just kidding. They're going to cut my head open. I'm not thrilled about this, but I know it's what needs to be done. I wanted to put it off longer. They were like, no, you cannot wait until summer when the school year is over. I'm a teacher and my son has school. He's in the 7th grade. So I was thinking this would be a summer kind of thing. They're like, oh, no, it's growing. You need to get this out. So yeah, so that's how I got to here. I have had one more, they're saying this was a seizure type incident that I had that night at Red Lobster. I've had one more seizure type incident since then. I don't do well nowadays with a lot of lights, with a lot of sound for too long. So I did have one while I was at school, not in front of the kids, thank God. So I've been home from work since then. I'm hoping to go back really soon so that I'm not out between now and after I recover from surgery. But right now it's hard. I find myself struggling with language sometimes, and I tend to be known for being very articulate, well-spoken. I find myself struggling for words. I'm doing it now even, where I get stuck trying to remember what I want to say and I draw a blank. I misplace things. I can't remember what did I do with it. And yeah. So I am starting to see the deficits because there is some swelling around the meningioma that's starting to affect other parts of my brain. So that's where we are right now. My plan and my family's plan is to document this whole experience from now through the surgery, through the recovery, just to be able to show what the experience of a brain tumor is like for someone like me. Okay, I'm not a senior citizen. I'm not Caucasian, and I haven't seen a lot of my experiences reflected out there. So I wanted to provide that in case there's someone out there who just got that same scary, you have a brain tumor moment and want to know what it's like for a real person. So that's where we are. So I hope that you will like and subscribe and follow me on this journey that I never wanted to go on, but I am optimistic. I'm a person of faith. I don't believe that God brought me this far to leave me here. So I look forward to sharing my experience with you. Peace and love.